What's up, guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we got 7.32D. We're going to be covering the item and hero changes of this new patch, and I'm really excited. It's been, how long has it been since the patch? 9/27. Almost 2 months since the last patch. So we've been waiting. Hopefully it's a pretty substantial patch. We definitely need one. I feel like I've been talking about the same few heroes. Did they nerf Wraith Pact? Okay, they did something. Hopefully it's notable. I hope it's a notable change. Either way, let's get into the item and hero changes. I'm gonna make a quick separate video on the general changes as well, but either way, let's get into the item changes starting off. We got Blade Mail, active damage return increased by 5%, okay. Active damage return no longer interrupts channeling when cast. I don't really know exactly what hero this would be good on, but Crystal Maiden with Blade Mail? What's a better example of a hero that channels something that would buy Blade Mail? Pudge, maybe? Okay, I don't know. This seems a little bit weird. Bloodstone, health bonus decreased by 50 and mana by 50. Not enough to make it where you wouldn't buy it on Leshrac. You definitely still could buy it on Leshrac, which is kind of the only hero that buys it. Boots of Bearing, actually, what, 50 gold cheaper? Okay, it's not a bad item. Honestly, if you have drums and tranquil boots, or just drums and boots, it's a good late game upgrade to get your charges back and get the movement speed bonus. Crimson Guard, getting 2 bonus armor. Okay, I don't think the item's incredible, but situationally it's decent, and having 2 bonus armor is nice, but not going to make the item become really meta. Drums, recipe cost decreased from 550 to 500. Total cost decreased from 700 to 1650. Now, why would they do that? Why would they do that? I actually don't understand. This item was already good and very much a purchased item. So Drum's getting a undeserved buff, but okay. Guardian Greaves. Guardian Aura threshold for boosted HP regen from 20 to 25%. Okay, that makes sense. And it's actually 100 gold cheaper. I don't think the item's good still, but you know, this is a big buff. Maybe if it gets like 3 more buffs, I'll think it's a good item. You just can't ever buy an item like Greaves over Wraith Pact. But Pipe, barrier block magical damage increased. Increased? Or, okay. So they buffed Pipe, which was definitely, I mean, it wasn't an incredible item, but it was becoming very popular. Okay. I feel like they're not paying attention to what's happening in Dota to make some of these changes, such as this one and this one. Feels very out of the loop. I'm gonna keep it real, but all right. Veil of Discord, 1 extra stat. Seems fine. I think the item is not terrible, and 1 extra stat's not bad. Ward Aura no longer reduces magical or pure damage. Still affects physical damage from attacks and spells. Okay, so they've killed Wraith Pact. You know what? I'm okay with that. You know, I'm really okay with that. I will say I think this is gonna cause maybe a rise in like Beastmaster, these unit heroes that don't buy it, but I'm okay with that. You know what? It's still very good against physical damage comps. At some point in the game, it's decent against physical damage comps. However, a lot of physical damage in the mid to late game is typically used under the effects of BKB or ranged heroes that are out of the range of Wraith Pact. So it makes Wraith Pact very, very unviable as an item. And honestly, I'm okay with this. Like, I respect this change. Yes, it's obviously going to completely kill the item unless I'm missing something. I don't think I am. But I like that. I wish like Veil would be raised from 4 to 6 stats. You know, and something like Greaves would be buffed by 300 gold. Put it closer to viability. Put the item closer to viability. I don't understand why you would buff the item so slightly. It's so pointless. I really just, I keep saying this in the patches. I just want Valve to take, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I don't get something, but from my perspective, you gotta do this. All right, now let's get into the hero changes. Alchemist getting a big buff to Acid Spray. Staying at 130 mana is nice because this hero actually does have mana problems. Okay, that's pretty good as he max out the Acid Spray. The Grievel's Greed Bounty Rune Multiplier, a little bit better from level 1, 2, and 3. Not much better though, so I don't think that's going to make the hero take it at level 1. You'll still probably take Acid. And then level 15, damage per Grievel's Greed stack increased from 1 to 1.5. It's pretty garbage. It's like 30-something damage max. I mean, I guess maybe you take it because the other one is Acid Spray grants armor to allies, which isn't that good. So Arc Warden, a pretty decent hero in my opinion. Aghanim Scepter secondary rate duration decreased from 45 to 15. Wow. If you don't know what this means, when Arc Warden buys Aghanim Scepter, the hero puts down a Wraith, right? And then if someone triggers it, it spawns another one, which previously lasted the full 45 seconds. They've completely chopped that down to 15, making the Ags probably still viable because it still zones out an area. So it's probably still viable late game, but not nearly as broken. Definitely a very notable change. I haven't seen too much of this hero as they also nerfed Okay, they just straight up hard nerfed Arc Warden. I haven't seen too much Arc Warden, but the hero's win rate has been pretty good, so I guess perhaps that's why they did it. This talent's actually not bad, 10 to 12% movement speed, slight buff, nothing crazy. Shadow Walk now reduces attack speed on hit by 16. That's actually pretty decent, because in the laning stage, right, you can slow them, and now it's going to make their attack speed go down as well, which is good for trading. That's quite nice for trading. So decent sized bounty hunter buff in the lane if you want to go for Shadow Walk at level 2, maybe level 3, maybe level 4. It's going to be okay. I wouldn't say this is going to put this hero in some ridiculous place, but it's all right. Bristleback gaining 0.75 HP regen, pretty decent. That's, how much HP is that? 45 HP per minute? You know, it's not going to change the hero, but too much, but it's okay. Oh, that's really funny. I actually specifically said that if they're gonna nerf Brood, they should nerf the spiraling vision. And they nerfed it from 700 to 400, which I don't think makes it completely bad because the vision was insane. 400 vision still is not that bad. It can like cover a cliff area, so you can like still scout a bunch of hills, you know what I mean? You're still gonna scout people like crazy. So I don't think, this is not enough of a nerf to Brood. The hero's still, in my opinion, completely broken. If you're good at the hero. It's not an easy hero, but if you get good at it, I think this hero is stupid. Chaos Knight, critical minimum increased by 5%. It's not that great. And there's 20 talent buff slightly, whatever. CM losing mana regen at all levels. Allied mana regen outside of proximity radius. So what? There's an inside proximity radius? Okay, so globally it gives less, but it already didn't give that much. I think this hero is still very, very good. It globally gives less by a decent margin, but still, it gives 1.2 mana regen, which is a ton. It gives 1.2 mana regen to the person you're laning with, and yourself 2.4, which is very high. Not gonna kill Crystal Maiden, good hero still. Damage per tick on Bramble is slightly higher. Like, I don't get it. Just, it's not interesting. It's not interesting. Give us some, I'm not gonna lie, none of these changes have really been interesting so far. I hope, I'm not trying to be too pessimistic, okay? I really like patches. But please, I hope there's some good, more like better changes throughout that are interesting, because it's been 2 months. Duration on Poison Touch increased by 1 second, which is actually a big deal. It allows you to chase people down, but the mana cost was increased. I would say that's a buff overall. Damage on Crypt Swarm buffed by 10 at all levels. Nothing too crazy. Slight buff to the Magic Resist talent, not great. Mana cost on Glimpse up by a little bit, and level 25 talent nerfed by a bit. Damage per second increased. Okay, they buffed Doom. I think the hero in pubs is not incredible because it's hard, which might sound weird, but I do believe the hero is a little difficult and conceptually plays in a weird way. It's a very greedy hero, and so from the offlane, which most people can't really comprehend. Like when you see the average player play Doom, they really mess it up. But I think this hero to high level is very strong, and giving it 5 extra damage per second is, I don't know. This hero shouldn't have gotten buffed in my opinion, but okay. It was bad in pubs. I guess they're trying to appeal to the average player. Not that this is some insane buff. It's not going to change the hero by that much, but still. Dragonite 2 base damage, cooldown increased at all levels. Okay, pretty decent buff to the ulti, actually, 10 seconds less. Don't think it makes the hero super meta, but all right. Drought Ranger cooldown increased from 16, a nerf to the Gust at level 1, same in max, all right, not a huge deal. Charge restore time on Earthspear's Remnants down by 2 seconds. That's a big deal, right? Because you have to multiply that by 7, considering he has 7 of the Remnants, giving you 14 seconds less of a charge restore time, which is going to help, like, if you were to use all 7 Remnants, obviously. Which, you know, it matters. It definitely could be the difference between having a stone or not. Absolutely could be the difference between having a stone or not. That's pretty nice. Also a bit of a buff to the 10 talent, nothing crazy. Attack range on Eidolon's nerfed at level 1. Still think the hero is going to be very good after this, but okay. A decent sized nerf, and the reason why is that 75 range is going to force you to put the Eidolons in a range where they can get gone on. And the way to counter Enigma in lane is to kill the Eidolons. And so if you have to bring them up further, they're more likely to die as well. So not going to kill the hero in my opinion, because it's still just a very, very strong hero. But with Wraith Pack being neutered as well, I think we'll see less Enigma because of this and the Wraith Pack change. Still a good hero, but definitely less of the hero. Grimstroke. Ingswell movement speed bonus increased by 2% at all levels. Can now be used on spell immune enemies. Wow, that's a big buff to the Ags. Wow, that's actually really massive. So if someone jumps in BKB, you can still make a copy of them and fight them, which is actually huge. But I don't think this is enough to make this very clunky hero good, unfortunately. Either way, level 15 flat cannon talent increased from 2 to 3. Okay, I didn't think Gyro was a bad hero, but a bit of a buff. So situationally, a very strong hero in my opinion. Coddle, turn rate buff, base damage. Okay, Kunkka, width increased from 425 to 450. Rum bonus speed increased from 12 to 15. Oh, I didn't even know Rum gave you bonus movement speed. What the hell? That's been in the game for forever? There's so much info in Dota that occasionally you just miss stuff. I guess all right. Legion pointless change. Aghanim shard bonus decrease, whatever, that was not the buff of the hero, now has a 1 second cooldown after it's toggled off. Oh, that's a huge nerf. If you don't know, one of the main reasons Leshrac was good is you could turn his ultimate on and off to get about a 50% damage increase on his ultimate. Most Leshracs never did it because they didn't know it was a thing. By turning your ulti off at the right times and turning it back on, you could basically, it was called like pulse toggling, and it was a good way to make the hero broken. It was broken with Bloodstone. I don't think this makes Leshrac completely unviable, but they also, it actually might. The hero was very broken, so honestly, I'm okay with them. Like, I don't mind them neutering a hero like this. I really don't. I mean, not, as I said, I think it's still kind of playable, but just not overly broken. And now I want to tell you guys a little bit about Dota Plus from Overwolf. This is a free stats app you guys can download right now that's going to show you your stats for the last 3 months. So if you want to know your games played, your MMR, your win rate, your XPM, your GPM, all of these things you need to track to know how well you're doing and what you need to change to gain MMR, you can get for absolutely free. On top of that, the biggest reason why you need to download Dota Plus, at least for me, is the ban suggestions. Basically, it tells you what the enemy team is good at. It tells you their best heroes, what they've been winning with. You just ban it. You might be wondering why your good heroes, why your best heroes keep getting banned. It's because of Dota Plus. The enemy team is using it and banning out your best heroes. So go download Dota Plus right now, and I'll see you guys there. Damage increased on Earth Spike by 15 at level 1. That's pretty decent. Hex cooldown. All right, whatever. Cast range and jump decreased from 800 to 450, and the jump speed 300 less. Whew. Damn! All right, I mean, once again, I'm okay with that because the hero was completely broken, right? So like, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm fine with that, right? 800 range and jump range to 450, so you gotta be really close to people to jump. Do I think this takes the hero out of the pro meta? This might sound insane, but honestly, no. I think you could still pick Marcy. I honestly do. However, this is a massive nerf. Massive, makes it way harder to rotate mid in particular. I feel like in the lane you can still probably get on top of people with this. It's not the end of the world. It's a nerf still, obviously hard nerf, but all right, interesting. Reasonable though, I think. Mars, speed while an active reduced, whatever, who cares. Snake cast range increased by a little bit. All right, projectile speed now increases by 15% with each bounce. That's actually a big buff. It's gonna make it much more reliable to hit people with it. So huge buff to Medusa's Snake actually. Really, really nice for the hero. Armor bonus increased on Monkey King's ulti by a little bit, and cast point improved. That's a big buff. 0.2 seconds stun and cast range is going to allow you to get your stun out faster, your ulti out faster, and that's very key in the late game. That's a big wind up. Morphling nerfed 1 second on waveform. Aghanim Scepter no longer reduces cooldown. Okay, I can respect that change. I think that's fair. It's not like they completely crushed the Ags, but they made it, once again, a little bit more situational. I'm fine with these changes. I wouldn't have minded them crushing Morphling a bit harder, but it actually fell off in popularity over time, so I can understand this. And from 2 waveform charges to 40% waveform cooldown, that's a huge nerf. Because you'd way rather be able to double waveform. Waveform in, waveform out, and it also synergized with your waveform attacks target at 20. So you could waveform and just burst the hell out of people. All right, Naga losing 1 armor. Whatever, her armor was high enough, strength gain. Okay, Naga's still broken. Yeah, Nature's Prophet buff! Shit, it's nothing. Ghost Shroud, increased magic damage, decreased from 40% to 25. Okay, so basically when you Ghost Shroud, you don't instantly kill yourself now, which I think is good. This was a pretty bad hero in my opinion, so I don't think it's gonna make the hero good by any means, but still, it's a reasonable buff. Nyx Assassin, bit of a nerf to the stun duration on Carapace, particularly at max, losing 0.4 seconds of stun, which is actually a ton. Ogre Magi getting 0.5 HP per regen, which is 30 health per minute. I don't think anything to put him in the meta, but a nice buff to the hero, gonna help him a bit in the lane. Wow, Pangolier got... No, it's a nerf, So the Shield Crash talent at level 15 is worse now, from 2.5 to 3 seconds. So a little bit worse on the Shield Crash, cooldown, and ball. Definitely a little bit worse. Phantom Assassin, base HP regen increased by 0.25, which is practically nothing, kind of. Mana cost decreased on Phantom Strike by a little bit. Nothing to put the hero in the meta, in my opinion. The damage on Onslaught, the same at max, a little bit less at level 1, which isn't too big of a deal. Run is now canceled if Primal Beast is stunned during it. At all. It's just straight up canceled. Wow. Wait, but that wasn't already the case? I thought it was. Very odd. I honestly thought he did. Very odd. Okay. Coil, slightly buffed by 25 damage at level 1, and then like 35 at max? If I'm not right, yeah. Very weird buff. Pudge HP regen decreased by 0.25, cooldown on Flesh Heap, nerfed at max, which is actually a big nerf. 3 seconds longer, so it used to be 20, 18, 16, 14, now it's 20, 19, 18, 17. 3 seconds longer at max, which is really bad. because you need to use it for farming. And then if a fight breaks out and you don't have it, you can't really go in. You have to wait it, right? You have to wait the flesh heap. So big nerf to the flesh heap, actually. I would have liked to see Pudge stay the way he is. I think Pudge was in a really fun place and didn't deserve a nerf. I don't think the hero, personally, I didn't think the hero was that broken or even that OP. So I don't really like that they nerfed Pudge, because I love the current place. I'm not even spamming Pudge right now, but I think Pudge is in a very fun and cool place. The way Pudge is shaped out to become a hero is awesome to me. It makes the hero not just like a hook magnet, but also more of a frontliner. It can farm a bit more, has a lot of options, which is very fun in my opinion. The cast range on Nether Blast increased from 500 to 600. That's a big deal. Really makes the ability way more viable in the early game. You don't have to walk up melee range to cast this ability. It's quite a big buff actually for securing range creeps and so on and so on. That's quite nice. Can be ground targeted with Aghanim Scepter. Who cares? The ulti severely buffed on Sonic Wave. 15 seconds better at level 1. That's a huge buff at level 1 on the Sonic Wave. Way more active. Way more active. They nerfed the level 20 talent to compensate, but still. At 110, 190, 35 seconds shorter on Sonic Wave at max. That is a massive quad buff. I don't think the hero's that great, but this is a really big buff to the hero, allowing it to be way more active. So honestly, if it's a good quap game, that's going to be a huge buff to put her over the edge. Aghanim Shard on Razor, slightly buff. Who cares? Rubik 3 base damage is actually kind of a lot. Sand King, weird base damage increase. Caustic Finale debuff increase slightly. Who cares? Shadow Demon, Disseminate, 75 higher. I actually think this hero is not that bad. I think that Shadow Demon's a pretty strong hero. It's just a weird hero, but I think it's relatively strong. Shadow Fiend, Requiem, Fear Line. Okay, I don't care. But a slight nerf to Shadow Fiend. Shadow Shaman, mana cost. Slightly buffed, not in a significant way because it's not at level 1. So slight mana buff to the Shaman, but nothing crazy. Level 10 talent buffed, but not the one you're typically going to take. Arcane Curse radius decreased by, what is that, 65? And it's slightly worse at max as well. It was 425 flat. Now it's 340, 360, 380, 400. I still think the hero is very powerful because you're going to max the ability out and it's not going to change too much. But it is a nerf. It's a big nerf because it's also a nerf to the cast range because you could clip them with the edge of it. So a big nerf to the cast range. Snapfire, Scatterblast damage increased. Sniper, Shrapnel, mana cost increased and radius decreased. Wow, the radius decrease is huge. 50 less radius is a big nerf. And you're going to give the hero some mana problems. It didn't really have too many mana problems from my experience, but pretty big nerf. Storm Spirit getting 0.1 mana regen. Okay, whatever, who cares? Warcry, Aura, armor bonus decreased from 7 to 6. Whatever. Cast point increased on Sticky Bomb by a little bit. That's kind of nice. Time to full charge decreased on Psionic Trap from 4 to 3.5. Okay. Reflection from Terrorblade, slightly better at level 1, making him a slightly better laner. Nothing insane. Duration on Timbersaw's Flamethrower slightly better and a pointless level 25 talent change. Radius on Avalanche decreased by only 30 at max, which does matter, but I don't think enough to make the hero unviable because it's still just tiny and it can stun people for 4 seconds and put them out of position. So tiny is still in the meta. Tree and Protector, pretty decent sized buff to his W at level 1. Actually slightly better at all levels, and the cast point was buffed as well. And the cast range is actually majorly buffed at max, so if you're going to max out the Leech Seed, it's actually way better as an ability now. So pretty interesting, but cool and notable buffs to the Leech Seed. Also, Overgrowth does 10 more damage per second now. Troll Warlord, a little bit of agi. From 21 to 23, okay, that's pretty decent. It's extra 2 damage, 2 attack speed, and a little bit of armor. Pretty notable, actually. And his level 20 talent, slightly buffed, not too notable of a way. Undying, his level 15 Soul Rip damage heal decreased from 12 to 10, which is not something people took, but also the 15 talent from 22 to 20. Still very strong hero for sure. Not very notable changes. Nether Toxin mana cost decreased on Viper, so making him a bit better. They buffed the Nosedive, which is the most stupid ags in all of Dota. Please, if you buy Viper eggs, you deserve to be neutered. His level 10 talents also buffed by a little bit, not in a very significant way. So Visage Shard slightly nerfed, but the big nerf to Visage is really the Wraith Pack. Do I think Visage is still a viable hero? Yeah, I do, but the Wraith Pack nerf, definitely notable. Makes the hero way less viable because it really relied on that timing to get active and abuse the birds being just stupidly strong. So pretty big nerf to Visage overall, regardless of the fact. Still think it's a playable hero though, I will admit, because you can still go like Drums Pipe and feel quite good, or Vlad's Drums, Drums Vlad's, whatever. You can still be quite viable. Upheaval max damage per second. I always forget that this does damage now. I feel like Warlock's an underrated hero. I'm going to say it now. I think Warlock's an underrated hero. His Upheaval does 110 damage per second if you get it channeled for max duration, which is pretty nuts. I feel like this hero is underrated. I'm saying it now. They also buffed the Golem's armor at level 1, which is pretty decent by 2. Kind of matters. Wind Ranger getting 2 base damage, okay, and a little bit of mana regen. It's not bad. And finally, last but not least, Wraith King and Wraith Fire Blast projectile speed increased from 1,000 to 1,200. It's decent. Skeletons now gain 25 additional movement speed and attack speed when targeting an enemy affected by Wraith Fire Blast. What? That's such a big buff. What the hell? Skeletons now gain 25 additional movement speed and attack speed when targeting an enemy affected by Wraith Fire Blast? How long does this last for again? I guess it's not that long, but wow, they're gonna hit really, like, skeletons do so much damage when you stun someone already, and now they hit 25 attack speed faster. That's a pretty decent sized buff. This is a massive buff. All right, and that's gonna be the end of the patch. I don't know what to say, guys. I would love to be more excited, and I didn't go through the general changes. I'm gonna make a quick separate video on that, but I'm gonna keep it real. I'm disappointed. I think this is one of the most underwhelming patches in a while, and they've had 2 months. And the last patch was pretty notable, but it was about the same thing where it didn't really feel like it changed the game very much, unfortunately. I don't know, guys. Maybe you feel the same way I do. I really try to be as optimistic as possible because I love the game, but yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.